Good afternoon and welcome to the Senior Hour, which is sponsored by Comfort Keepers in Home Care and Providence Holy Cross Medical Center. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host,
Dr. Thomas Pilecki.
On your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS. This is a show for, about, and by seniors, giving information to enhance one's quality of life. And the first part of the show is my co-host, Dr. Thomas Pilecki.
Hey, what do you know?
Well, we're here again.
Yeah, it's always good. You know, I love it because you have firsthand experience. I'm allowed to say this. You've given me permission to say this. You've been a patient for years, right? But didn't start out that way. First, I was invited to be a guest on the Senior Hour like 20 years ago. And that's what got this whole thing started. At the time, you were doing something completely different. And then I guess somehow, some way, our conversations led to you trying something different. And I want because I could talk about it all day long and people would probably fall asleep. I want to...
Me included?
Yes. I have that soothing voice, but I don't want to soothe people into a lullaby. So I want to hear from you. In communications, it's about compare and contrast. And the more controversial you can get about those comparisons, those contrasts, the more you get people's attention. So what's the most radically different thing that you experienced in our office compared to what you had been thinking that chiropractic meant your whole life?
Well, I went to a chiropractor after I had I don't remember what it was, a fall or it was the automobile accident, I don't know. But anyway, I went to the chiropractor and he put me on this bed and started twisting me. I mean, literally twisting my body.
Yeah.
Getting one hand on one side and the other on the other and twisting me. And I could hear my bones crack.
Yeah.
Crack, crack, crack.
Well, that's what most people, if you look online right now and you just type the word chiropractic, if you're going to come up with a video, more than 9 times out of 10, it's going to show something that looks exactly like that to varying degrees. And a lot of times, the more violent, the more extreme, the more views it gets. And that is disturbing on so many levels, but I want your opinion on what that felt like, what that experience was like for you, and why you went back a second time.
It frightened me.
Yeah.
It scared me.
Yeah.
Because I thought I was going to fall off the bed to begin with. And then all this cracking, and I'm thinking, what's it doing to my body?
Yeah.
How can that be helping me?
But you did. You kept going back, and that's what intrigues me most.
Yes, because I didn't know you existed at the time.
Right. But forget about me. This is usually all about me. But forget about me for a second. I'm so intrigued about all the stories I hear about every one of I am rarely the first chiropractor anybody goes to. But when they see what I'm doing, they have a lot of questions about what is this? Why have I never seen this before? What is this all about? Blah, blah, blah. I've been going for years. I've never seen anything like this. I've been to a dozen chiropractors and they all did pretty much the same thing. Aren't you going to adjust me? You know, because they've been told that that's what that other stuff is, right? So
yes.
I'm intrigued about, you felt uncomfortable. You didn't like what that treatment was like for you, but you kept going back. So share with me, what is the idea that, keeps you coming back? Kept you going back to something that scared you, that frightened you, that you felt uncomfortable with. Why did you continue?
Well, because I didn't know any other thing. any
Right.
other thing to do.
But you could have just said no. You could have just said,
Well,
hey,
that's
listen,
true.
this is not for me.
Yes.
I'm not into this. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I don't dig this at all.
No, that's true. I don't know why I didn't. I think it was because of a doctor.
Yeah. And what about that doctor was most appealing to you? What'd you like most about it? Because we know what you didn't like, but what'd you like
Well,
most about it?
I had been going to a cardiologist that I met somewhere. And he was my regular doctor. He ran all my tests and all this, that, and the other. And he was the one who recommended that I see a chiropractor.
Oh, good for him. Yeah. Okay.
So that's
And
how
so
it
when you
started.
went there, you figured, well, this is what
This
my
is what the
doctor
doc-
told me to
yes.
do, so I'm going to stick it out even if I don't
Yeah.
really love it so much.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad that we had the opportunity to get you to come and see what could be different, and helped you through a lot of pretty serious stuff in the past few years.
You aren't kidding. And you still do.
Yeah, oh, well, thank you.
Well, as you get older, your
Yeah.
body starts breaking down, And when I took that fall,
Yeah.
whenever it was, a year or so ago, oh, what a difference.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets harder. It gets harder as we get older, for sure. But a lot of the things that we consider normal aging isn't normal aging at all. Like, you are a shining example. I mean, you beat cancer twice. You were in a jaws of life car accident that,
That's true.
could have killed just about anybody else. And yet, you're hanging out.
Yeah, I'm hanging in there.
So it's a little bit different. And I'm glad that I had the opportunity, and that I've been working with you and helped you through some pretty rough stuff. Jen, do you have something you got to?
I do. Our guest is here. Our guest was running a little
okay.
bit late.
Okay.
So we can kind of move our clocks around a little bit. We can go into an early break and then give our guest a little bit of a window here to talk to you guys.
Okay. Sounds
Okay,
great.
and this is Dr. Kian Asanad.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'll invite him in as soon as we come out of this break.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Sounds good.
You're listening to the Senior Hour on
KHTS FM 98.1 AM 1220 hometownstation.com.
Bella Cucina Italian Restaurant, in collaboration with Mission Opera, presents Bella Notte every third Saturday of the month, starting November 23rd. These opera nights will help keep the arts alive in Santa Clarita while supporting locally owned businesses. For information, visit missionopera.com.
Your business sign is essential to getting customers to your location. Feathers can help you get your business noticed. Feathers is now in a larger space with plenty of parking. They walk you through each phase of your project with special attention to detail and quality. Feathers will provide you with a sign that you can be proud of. Your sign will draw customers in instead of having them drive by. Visit Feathers online at feathersigns.com or visit Feathers at 26017 Huntington Drive off Rye Canyon or call 298-9442.
Mission Valley Bank puts the community in community banking. They strive to be your most trusted bank. Mission Valley Bank is happy to sponsor KHTS Holiday Music. Happy holidays!
Healthcare can be difficult if you're underinsured or have Medi-Cal. Samuel Dixon Family Health Center can help. Services are available on a sliding fee schedule. The mission of the Samuel Dixon Family Health Center is to give the Santa Clarita Valley access to affordable, quality primary care. There are 3 locations to serve you: Canyon Country, Newhall, and Valverde. Go to sdfhc.org for more information and to find the location most convenient for you.
If you're in need of physical therapy, check out Focus Physical Therapy. Owner and therapist Adam Laraway has the latest in cutting-edge technology, introducing the Newbie, the ultimate in neuromuscular re-education. The Newbie can help you heal up to 70% faster and was FDA cleared in September 2017. The Newbie uses pulsed direct current, which mimics the same neurological signals the brain uses and allows the therapist to identify those signals with 100% accuracy. Newbie can even help improve your sleep while tackling issues with neck, knee, and shoulder pain, sciatica, and arthritis. It can accelerate your fitness progress, which means better results in less sessions. Get stronger quicker. Why not use the same technology that the Dodgers and the LA Clippers use? Focus PT, located on Peachland off Lyons in Newhall. Call 255-4205. Go online at focusphysicaltherapyscv.com.
Your hometown station.
Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Thomas Pilecki, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS. And our guest now is Dr. Kian Asanad, who is a neurologist at Henry Mayo Hospital. Welcome.
Urologist, right?
Urologist.
What did I say?
It's a classic mix-up.
A
I get that all the
neurologist.
time.
Take the N off. Oh dear, I'm sorry.
No
That's
problem.
okay. Just a little
Urologist.
bit of a difference there in the
Okay.
specialty.
All right. So what is a urologist
A
as
uro-
opposed to a neurologist?
Correct. A urologist is a surgeon who manages the retroperitoneal organs, things like the kidneys, ureter, bladder, prostate, as well as male and female genitalia. So some of the things that we treat and diagnose are things like kidney stones, enlarged prostate, prostate cancer, tumors of the urinary tract such as bladder cancer, as well as a lot of lifestyle things such as male reproductive health and male fertility. And on the female side of things include pelvic organ prolapse and stress incontinence, as well as female pelvic medicine and reconstructive surgery. So really a broad field.
Well,
Okay.
it all sounds like French to me.
Yeah. So you're a surgeon. That's your specialty. You're not. You don't really treat people with drugs. You go in there and
It's actually
change the structure of stuff.
it's a combination of both, actually.
Okay.
There's a lot
Oh.
of things we can treat medically and a lot of things that we treat surgically.
Got it.
Yes.
So, but you introduce yourself as a surgeon. So
Yes.
usually there's, you're either, giving people medicine or you're
Yeah.
doing surgery. So you consider yourself as mostly a surgeon, yes?
Yeah, I am a surgeon, and there's a common misconception that urologists only treat things medically, but the reality and the nice thing is that we treat things medically when needs to be treated medically, and then we can take patients to the operating room and do surgery such as removing kidneys for cancer, removing stones in the kidneys, removing prostates for prostate cancer, as well as reconstruction and lots of different things.
Yeah. So, prostate is something that every male is going to have to come to terms with eventually if they live long enough. So let's focus on that for a minute. What specifically can you tell us that most people don't know about prostate? Because pretty much people just know that, prostate cancer is bad and it's going to affect your ability to urinate. That's usually one of the first signs, right? And after that, I think that most people just don't have any idea about what
Sure.
goes on there.
Yeah, so the prostate is a deep-seated organ that's main role is to help produce semen. And as men get older, the prostate enlarges. And that is a normal change that occurs as men get older.
Why is that? Is there a reason for it medically?
A lot of it's androgen specific, so changes in testosterone levels as well as just growth with time. And prostate cancer is one of the most common, if not the most common cancer in men in the U.S. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer. In 2024, there's estimated over 300,000 new cases, as well as 35,000 cases causing death from prostate cancer.
Whoa.
Wow. So usually, and I'm going to defer to your expertise on this. I just know enough about this stuff to sound stupid. So I'm going to ask, usually a cancer is hormone specific. Is prostate cancer hormone specific? Like, is it, for the listener, both men and women both have testosterone. We both have estrogen, and typically one subtype of estrogen is the cause of a lot of different cancers out there. Is that the case with prostate cancer?
Yeah, it's a really important question, and there's a lot of nuance and subtlety to that. And we've gotten so much data recently that demonstrates that testosterone and testosterone therapy does not cause prostate cancer. With that said, there are certain types of prostate cancers, especially in the metastatic setting, which is spread outside of the prostate, that we treat with hormones and testosterone blockers. But the reverse is not true. Giving a man testosterone and increasing their testosterone, something I commonly do for men with low testosterone, has been shown that does not increase risk of developing prostate cancer.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Because a lot of guys do lean into that at some point. But what intrigues me most is testosterone is just a step or two away from turning into that horrible kind of estrogen, right? So what is it? It is estrone. Is it alpha 16, or am I screwing that up?
Well, testosterone is converted to estradiol or E2 by aromatase, which is found in the fatty tissue of the body. Men have a normal amount of estrogen and estradiol, and that's important for bone density as well as sex drive. So don't recommend turning off a man's estradiol levels, because that can secondarily cause issues with libido and sex drive.
Yeah. But the estradiol is kind of the workhorse. That's the good estrogen. I'm talking about the bad subtype. I think it's estrone 3. I want to say it's alpha 16, but I could be getting that all wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if that plays a role in the prostate cancer development.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
No, it
sorry.
does not.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was my question. Sorry, geeking out here. Okay, so when it gets to the point where obviously stuff like what is it? It's not Flonase. I know that's it's not Flonase.
Flomax.
People are not treating this with Flonase.
Yeah.
But when Flomax is no longer getting the job done, what does that look like for somebody?
So Flomax is given to relax the prostate for men with an enlarged prostate causing obstruction or blockage. And if Flomax is not effective, and there's different types of medicines, just like Flomax, that work well on relaxing the prostate, there are typically move forward some sort of minimally invasive BPH or benign prostate enlargement procedure. There's things that we do in the office, outpatient setting in the operating room, where we can remove some prostate tissue or use metal implants or clips to help open up the channel to improve a man's natural ability to urinate.
Yeah, because that's hard. That's hard to deal with. When you're up all night having to go and nothing really satisfies, like you just have to keep dealing with it. That's what drives most men to actually do something about it finally.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's really for the most men, it's just a quality of life issue, trouble urinating, incompletely emptying their bladder, urinating frequently. You mentioned getting up at night. But for some men, that can cause a lot of red flag symptoms. Yeah. So that can cause blood in the urine, recurrent blood in the urine. It can cause a complete inability to urinate.
Yeah, that's not good.
You're not good. Causing urinary retention, requiring a catheter.
Ouch.
It can cause recurrent stones. Stones can form in the bladder due to incomplete emptying. And in really severe cases, men who are not emptying their bladder completely can cause a back pressure on the kidneys and cause kidney damage. So there's some instances that there's a medical necessity that they warrants prostate surgery. And in some instances, it's just a quality of life issue. It's nothing dangerous. If you're okay waking up 5 times a night and that's not bothering you and you don't want to do any medicine or treatment, that's fine.
Yeah, and my understanding is that prostate cancer is kind of slow. So as long as it's not detected early in life, because then it's a real problem. But as long as it's not detected early in life, it's, it's certainly not a death sentence. It's like you're going to die from something else.
Correct. Yeah. So the majority of prostate cancers diagnosed are really low risk prostate cancers. And so if you think of prostate cancer scored on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being a very low risk, slow growing disease, and 5 being the most highest risk for spreading and causing other issues, most men are diagnosed with grade 1 or the lowest risk prostate cancer. We don't even treat those. We manage it with active surveillance, which requires repeat blood testing, repeat PSA testing, and nowadays repeat MRIs of the prostate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes.
Very interesting. Well, to change the subject a little bit, how did you get involved in this career?
When I grew up, I knew I wanted to be a surgeon. My dad had a heart transplantation when I was very young, and I always saw the impact of surgery on patients and their families' lives. And when I went to medical school at UCLA, I realized that I really cared a lot about the quality of life of patients. I didn't know anything about urology. I met a patient who was describing blood in the urine and when I was a first-year medical student, and I wanted to see how I could help him and learn about the field of urology, and saw that it really integrated surgery with quality of life aspects, and that's how I really got interested in urology. I actually did a fellowship in men's health, so that has to do with male fertility, their reproductive health, as well as their sexual function.
Awesome.
Oh, interesting.
All right, Doc, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining us, taking time out of your schedule. I know surgeons are always going somewhere.
I appreciate your
Always
time.
busy.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for joining us. You've been listening to Senior Hour KHTS FM 98.1 AM 1220, hometownstation.com.
And our guest now is Cardon Ellis from Unipest.
Yeah, we saved the pest for last.
I know.
Oh, I love it.
See what I
That's
did
why
there?
I said when he came in, oh, hi, Pest.
Yeah.
All right, Cardon, what are we going to talk about?
Well, anything and everything. There's all kinds of good stuff
Oh,
going on
all
in
kinds.
Santa Clarita.
All kinds of bugs and pests and
Oh yeah,
flying
and happening.
ants and
Yeah,
all kinds of
this is a
things.
great time to be
Oh,
alive in Santa Clarita. Be at the radio station. Be with you guys. I'm just stoked. I am so stoked. This is like the highlight of my month.
That's good.
Since
That's
the
good.
last highlight of my month hanging out with you. So yeah, let's hit it. Let's hit it. What do you want to talk about? Let's go.
That's up to you. You're the boss.
Okay. Oh, rock on.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
You're the guest, so that means you're the boss.
Okay, I'll take it. I'll take it.
All right, go for it.
Okay, sick. Well, what have I been up to?
What bugs
Bugs.
you? Yeah.
A big time. Moths.
Moths?
Yeah, moths.
The kind
Can
that
you
eat
believe it?
clothes, like in the cartoons?
Yes, it's been
I hate them.
nuts. I've been killing people's moths, and I think it's because they're all busting out their sweaters. The ugly Christmas sweaters, Do you have an ugly Christmas sweater?
I have beautiful Christmas.
And they only go for the expensive clothes, like the real natural fibers. Like they won't touch synthetics.
Yeah. Well, exactly. It's 'cause they're
Yeah.
synthetics. It is an unfortunate reality that the natural fibers are oftentimes the more expensive ones, the softer ones. Like, I know you remember when you were in prison last time, how just horribly uncomfortable the sheet was?
Yes.
That's because it was like polyester,
Yeah.
50-50. But the nice cashmere sweater you were gifted by King George in 1993, that was a natural fiber. So, you know what I'm saying? I love watching you smile. It just like makes my day. So they're going nuts, and I can't say this definitively, but I think it is tied to ugly Christmas sweater parties that always show up in the second week of December, and I think that's it. I think it's
you're
tied
onto something there.
to the festive reason of the season.
Yep.
So
So I got to ask, I've seen a bunch of different kinds of moths, and I'm most scared of the bigger ones because I think they're the ones that eat my clothes. But I also see these little ones, these little like mealyworm moths that are usually in the cupboard instead of in the closet. And they the reason I call them, I used to think they were silkworms until I saw what a silkworm was. They're big. Silkworms are actually big, and they got nothing to do with this. But these guys, when they're in their worm state, whatever you call it, their larva, the caterpillar, or whatever you call a moth baby, they make a cocoon and they drag it around with them. And you see them crawling up the walls all over the place. So what's all that about?
Oh, I think what you might be referring to, without seeing it, of course, because there's tens of thousands of different types of larvae.
Okay, a lot do
moths.
that? Like,
And,
that's not unique?
I think you might be referring to what's called a case-making moth.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds pretty crazy, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Do you remember that old flick, Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
Yeah.
Do you remember that movie?
It was remade. Which one are you talking about?
Like, it was an original
50s or
indie film.
70s?
The original 50s
The
one.
50s.
The old
all
black
right,
and
okay.
white.
Not Donald Sutherland.
No.
That was in the 70s. Yeah,
the
okay.
original 50s one, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. It's one of those like classic 50s movies.
If I saw it, I don't remember.
Oh, well, you probably did. If not in the 50s or 60s when you're just having fun with your friends. At really, really late at night on TBS or some channel that was looking for something interesting at midnight throughout the 90s, it would play. But anyway, they make these little cases, and sometimes you'll see them actually inside of the closets. And that's what's tough, because what people don't realize is by the time you see the moth, the damage is already done. It's in its adult phase, and it's most likely not going to live that much longer. It's the larvae that chew the clothes. So you can fix some of it yourself, which is nice.
What, the holes in my clothes?
Well, those you can just sew up, but unfortunately sometimes they're ruined.
Yeah.
But no, you double dry everything. Do you have a gas dryer or an electric dryer?
I don't know.
Probably gas.
Yeah, I was about to say most people around here have gas.
Yeah.
But on high heat, most gas dryers will get above 140 degrees, which is enough to kill any larvae or bugs that are in your clothes. And
I haven't seen any in my clothes.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Or in my closet or anything.
Well, be careful who you associate with. Or
Well,
else
so
that
what do
might
you
change.
what do you think about mothballs? That smelly stuff, naphtha.
Oh,
I know it's like incredibly toxic, but
Yeah.
does it actually do anything to the bugs?
Okay, so there's all kinds of nasal irritants and things that will off gas that purport to people use mothballs for all kinds of stuff. But the same with cedar chests. You know,
cedar.
They think that if you hang those little things of cedar, those help for a while. But people used to think that if you built a house out of redwood, that you wouldn't get termites, and they kind of found that all it did was extend how long it took you to get termites. Ultimately, even those houses will get them as well. I've seen it firsthand. So whether it's mothballs or cedar things hung inside of your closet, there's no silver bullet for avoiding these things that actually just like lasts a while. You're a chiropractor. You help people with all kinds of aspects of their health, including nutrition. There's no like shake you can just eat in the morning that makes you healthy, because health is such a multifaceted thing that includes exercise, how handsome you are. If you're ugly, is it even worth being healthy? You know, no, I'm just kidding. But like, you know, the life cycle of these pests is so multifaceted. There's no thing you can just quickly hang in your closet and you'll never have a problem with moths. But it's a funny job too. Like doing closet inspections is hilarious in Santa Clarita. 2 reasons. First, you find a lot of very awkward prom dresses. You know what I'm saying? A lot of wedding dresses where,
Look like a pineapple.
Yeah, you see the guy's tuxedo that he wore in his wedding, you know, and it's in that vacuum-formed bag, you know, stuck underneath a bunch of old T-shirts. And it's like, bro, this is like 36-inch inseam. You're like a 54, dog.
You're not fitting in that one.
You know what I'm saying? What's going on, man? Also, you find a lot of stashed bottles of booze. You know what I'm saying? That's always really funny. And everybody thinks that they're smart by hiding their handgun on the very top of their closet where nobody can reach it.
Yeah.
But when you're 6'5", it's the first thing you see. That's always kind of funny. And also just like just a lot of lost items. Like you'll be digging through like somebody's shoe closet, and then you'll pull out some like Ninja Turtle toy, and you'll be some kid's hero. Like, I've been looking for that for months, you know.
Keys.
So you always have to look behind everything, because the other thing is carpet beetles, dude. Like, people don't realize this. Half of the damage done to people's clothing in closets that I see isn't from moths.
What?
It looks like moths, but it's not moths.
What is it?
It's a type of beetle called a carpet beetle. And it's called a varied carpet beetle. It looks like if you accidentally spray painted a little bit of speckles on a split pea. Do you ever make split pea soup?
No, I don't make it, but my kids do. My daughter does.
Man, you got the best life, man. You're like, I'm like, do you have to clean this stuff? Oh, I don't clean. No. Do I ever cook? No, I don't cook. You know, do they walk you around on a beer in your house? You know, do you just have 4 people that just like, we're going to do that. Actually, for the 4th of July parade, if you are up for it, I would try and make this happen. What if we actually got a train of 8 people to hold you on one of those thrones with 2 little bars on it? You know what I'm saying? And we just called you Queen Barbara, and like we give you a big hole. You're English. You got a monarch. Like, there is no monarchy in Santa Clarita. We have a bunch of people that act like royalty, you know, but nobody's truly been crowned. You're English. You could be the Duchess of the SCV, and I would literally get like 8 of my friends. They would be shredded. They'd look like Chippendales dancers, and we would just get them to hold you on a throne as you go down Main Street, and we'd put you behind one of those cringy real estate agents that's just using it as an excuse to put his name out there. You know what I'm saying? And we could totally just have you. You would look like a sultan, a sultaness. No, that would work. Okay. So anyway, when you're going through these closets, the
Carpet
if you look at
beetles.
the bottom of the baseboards and you see like a bunch of damage, especially like T-shirts, because people oftentimes will fold and stack a bunch of T-shirts that they're convinced they're going to use when they start working out again, or that they're convinced they're going to use when they go to paint their house again. And the beetles will get in there, and especially 50-50 T-shirts, I've noticed.
Yeah.
They'll just chew all these holes in them, and you won't notice them because they're living in between the T-shirts, and then they start chewing on the back sides where it's dark and it's cool and it's nice and it's insulated from all the clutter you got back there, chewing on the carpet fibers at the bottom of the baseboard. It's pretty wild.
So if it's not on the floor, can they get to it anyway? So.
Oh yeah.
All right. So.
But they prefer the floor, and they're kind of bottom dwelling, and they can crawl up the walls though. You'll see them on the walls and everything.
But if your clothes doesn't touch the wall, doesn't touch the floor, it's not going to get eaten.
Most likely not by carpet beetles, but it can by moths because they fly. Yeah. And the ones you see in your pantry are called Indian meal moths, and they're coming from the flour or the spaghetti.
Right.
They come from all the grain-based things, and unfortunately, the only thing you can do is throw away half your food.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Done that.
Let me ask you something else. The last couple of days, I've seen on my kitchen counter next to the sink little tiny black things. I mean, they're really, really tiny. You almost can't see them.
Okay.
But they're
Spiders,
scoot.
like mites.
Ooh, okay. That's one of 2 things.
They're more oval, but they're very tiny.
Uh-oh.
And they're in the kitchen. I have a
Here, let me finish that little drawing of yours really fast. If I were to blow this up triple, would you say I'd had a head? And when you say it's oval, does it look like the bottom half is a little bit pear-shaped like that with tiny little legs coming out like that?
No, I haven't seen any legs.
Yeah, look a little bit closer. If you catch one, send me a picture. Because there's 2 types of bugs that can be, but one's only in the springtime.
So this is...
This, I hate to say it, that's most likely a juvenile cockroach. German cockroach, they're very common when you eat out or you shop at a lot of fun, natural, holistic places. German cockroaches are a restaurant roach, and they travel in a lot of the food items. And so what will happen is sometimes people actually bring them home on their shoes. You can have little cockroach eggs on your shoes. You can also have them in like everything from the boxes that you get at Costco to takeout items. And they love scooting underneath your your countertops where it's dark, and where when you wipe and you wipe and you wipe and you wipe, the water from the surface tension kind of soaks and wicks up underneath, and they get a little bit of water there. Yeah, you'll have cockroaches, or a type of mite sometimes that you'll get around sinks that comes from the outside. And when it gets really hot, all of a sudden they hatch, and they're very erratic. Does it run very erratically, or does it run in a straight line?
No, it fiddles around all over the place.
Yeah, if it's fiddling around all over the place, then it also...
try to hit it with my hand, and I miss it because it goes so fast. I think
Really?
it sees my hand coming because being that tiny, I don't mind hitting it with my hand.
Okay.
If I get my fly
Howitzer.
swatter, he's gone. Or
Have
she's
you
gone.
considered a hammer? It would, I mean, it would just, it
The
could
hammer
be
I have is very heavy because it was my husband's hammer.
Yeah.
And of course, he needed a big one to do whatever he needed to do.
So I've never done this in real life, but I'd seen it in cartoons. A frying pan.
Yep.
Have you ever, thought like...
Well, Barb's usually strapped with her Desert Eagle, so I think that...
With my what?
Oh, your Desert Eagle. It's a very large handgun that was popularized in movies in the early 2000s. Like your boy Clint Eastwood. You remember Clint Eastwood in Dirty Harry? The big, long Magnum 357 that he'd have? And he'd be like, "Tell me, do you feel lucky, punk?" And he was holding that big pistol, right? Was that a pretty good impression?
I don't know.
It's the 44 Magnum. Most
Oh, you were
powerful
the only
gun
woman
ever
in the
made.
80s that didn't have a crush on Clint Eastwood if you didn't see that movie.
I don't remember seeing it.
Oh, Dirty Harry? Oh, yeah, it was kind of like an iconic kind of role that he played where he was this jaded cop in San Francisco that didn't like the way things were, and he was catching these bad guys, but the system was trying to keep him down. And so he's got these really good lines, like he'd point a pistol at this guy that just robbed a bait station, and he'd already shot like 6 rounds, okay? But cops used to count the rounds so they would know how many shots they had left, and he'd lost track. So he goes up to the guy, and he doesn't know if he has 1 round left, and he's like, 5 or 6, I don't remember. And the bank robber's like, "Oh, neither do I." And he's like, "Okay, tell me, do you feel lucky, punk?" Because he was reaching for his gun, right? And so anyway, he's like, "Okay, I won't reach for my gun," basically, right? And then before he walks off, the guy's like, I gotta know. And he turns around, and he clicks, and it was empty. So the bank robber could have killed him, but he didn't. It was a bluffing mechanism.
Okay, so what does that have to do with this thing?
Well, if you get a gun, you'll probably have a better chance of killing it. That's the lesson learned. Magnum 357. Don't use your hand. Don't use your husband's hammer. Not the frying pan. No, I'm totally just kidding. That is not an endorsement of the discharge of firearms in your very own kitchen in order to destroy insect life. But, yeah, you can always just call us. We'll come spray for you.
Barb's more into the spaghetti Western Clint era.
No.
Sergio Leone. Those are great films.
What?
The
I
Good,
don't
the
like
Bad, the
cowboy-
Ugly.
I don't
Classic.
like cowboy films.
What?
Really?
You live in Santa Clarita and you don't like cowboy movies.
It's
Rave?
he's joking. It's a type of party where people listen to loud house and dance music together. But no. So what do you do for fun?
Well, I watch a few TV shows that I like, NCIS and CSI, those murder mystery movies. I like that. I mean, shows. And
You go to the senior center.
I go to the senior center. That's right. I come here, and I work at the Assistance League.
So what's something super fun that me and my guys can do at the senior center? When I was a kid, me and my dad used to go to the senior center when we played the piano. And my dad, he knew like all the old ragtime and all of the old like 50s like swing dance songs and everything. So some of the old timers would totally dig it and love it. I'm not as talented as he is, right? so I can play the piano, but I mean we're talking like church hymns and movie music. I'm not being able to bust out Frank Sinatra tunes left and right, okay? But what's something fun that me and my guys could do down at the senior center? You have 4 pest control dudes showing up for an hour. What's something cool we could do that they'd love down there?
You can play billiards. There's all kinds of things to do there. All kinds of things.
Well, no, not just for us for fun, like that they would like,
I don't know. They have good food there.
Okay.
They would like the lunches.
Ah, okay, cool. But there's
Lunches
not
are
something we
very
could
good.
do for like the old people?
What do you mean?
Well,
You-
they have
what do
they
you
have
mean
different
you wanna help
classes they can take. There's exercise classes,
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
And they do like typical stuff like bingo, of course.
Yeah.
But don't they do like arts and crafts or something, some kind of creative thing? There's all sorts of options to.
Everything from
Taken.
archaeology to Zumba. Hey,
Well, and
see
they,
what I did
they
there?
have a fantastic library there.
Oh, that's cool. They do archaeology classes
Yeah,
in the
for
seniors?
real. It's one
Are
of the
you
most-
kidding me?
it's-
Also teach a slang class. I think that would be kind of fun too.
sling?
A slang class.
Slang, SLANG.
Yeah, so slang, those are colloquialisms or
Yes.
they're words used
Slang.
by young people. Yeah, slang. So I'm having my son teach me Gen Alpha slang, which are the young kids now. We're talking like the 5th, 6th, 7th graders, right? Well, he's teaching me what all of the words they say mean. So I was thinking we could maybe at the senior center have a slang class where the old people learn the young people's like lingo, so when they're doing Thanksgiving and Christmas dinner together, they can bust out some serious slang and just be cool. Like, could you imagine the grandpa that comes in, like the 90-year-old great grandpa that just drops some seriously cool, just like slang on his Gen Alpha great grandkids? He would be a legend, an absolute legend.
Well, there are no kids there. There are no kids at the senior
No.
center.
We teach them in their
teach
own
them.
environment.
Oh,
yeah,
I
so that when they go back, they can just drop slang during the Christmas party and be the cool kids.
Well, I don't know about that because I'd have to talk with Kevin, the guy who runs the place.
Okay, Kevin, we're coming for you, bro. We're going to have a Gen Z and Gen Alpha and Millennial Slang 101 class. I will be the instructor. I will bring my son. I will bring my daughter, and we will teach you everything. Here's one word. Do you have a favorite grandson or a favorite great-grandson? You don't have great-grandchildren, but
Yes, I do have great grandchildren.
you do.
I have 7 of them.
Oh, goodness gracious. Are any of them like 5th or 6th grade?
One of them is
Okay, just memorize this word, Rizzler.
Grizzler.
No, the Rizzler. It's like a grizzly bear, but Rizzler. So Riz is short for charisma. If a kid's got Riz,
Two.
yeah, Rizzler, Rizzler. And so if you walk in, you're like, who's this Rizzler? When he's doing something charismatic or whatever, they will look at you, slack-jawed, laugh like crazy, and say you're the coolest great-grandma on the planet.
Yay.
Okay.
Yeah. That first class is free.
All right, we'll work it out with the senior center. Are you coming back?
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back in a minute with more. No, we're not going. We're done. Oh, we're
it's
done
almost
here
1
on
o'clock.
this episode of the Senior Hour, KHTS FM 98.1 AM 1220, hometownstation.com, brought to you by Comfort